Brenda Miller, and I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator in Basking Ridge, New Jersey. And I go live every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time to share with you some of the things that I'm working on. And this week, I'm all about my Stamp-A-Stack classes, which are going to be held Thursday through Saturday. I have 4 different time slots. It's going to be a very busy month. Already one class is already filled, and 2 of the others are approaching being filled, so it's very exciting. So I definitely wanted to share with you one of the cards that we're making because we're using the new Stampin Positioner. And of course, I know everybody wants to see it, whether you're here or not. So let's go ahead and make a card using that Stampin Positioner. Let's go ahead and show my desktop. Okay, so this is the Stampin Positioner. You can see, I know I showed it last week, but it is a platform, okay, but it doesn't have hinges, okay? So if you remember our Stamparatus, it had hinges, and it was a technology that we did not have a copyright for, and someone else did. So we came back with a different Stampin Positioner. Oh my goodness. And this one is a style that is available elsewhere, but of course ours has our logo on it, and it is, it's a little bit better. So what we have here are several pieces. So we have that lovely platform, and you can see this is where one side we put the stamp that we're going to use, and then at the bottom here are these little springs, and that gives us the ability to stamp and press and get it in the same place every time. It comes with these 2 little magnets, which are so much easier to work with. It's easy to pick up, they're thinner, they don't click and stick together, which is always a good thing. This is actually something additional that you can get, but this is grid paper that you can put on, and you can see that it has these little dots at the top, and these little holes coincide with the holes here, so your paper stays where you put it. You can also see here we have some other places where you can put your platform, and there is another piece to the platform that is long and skinny, and it's here somewhere. Maybe it'll turn up, but it's a thin piece that can go on top and press down and work the same way as the platform. So those are the pieces of our Stampin Positioner. Okay, so let me show you how we're going to use it. So as you can see, I have a stamp on here, and this stamp has been placed, and I'm expecting nobody to touch it, nobody to move it. It's going to stay in the same place for everyone that is stamping in the class. And you're going to take a piece of paper, and let me show you how this gets placed. I didn't show you, the bottom of this is like this nice foam, so it doesn't slip and slide as much as other things might. So it is good and easy to work with. But if you look here, you can see there's this little triangle, okay? A little bit hard to see, but it's between the 3 and the 5, so right at 4 inches. And what you're going to do is take the corner of your cardstock and slide it into that spot. And that way it will be placed the same way every time, okay? So you get it in there. It's on a diagonal. Seems a little counterintuitive, but this is how you're going to place your paper. And then you're going to take your thin little magnets and adhere them anywhere that doesn't get in the way of the placement of your stamp. Okay, so you can see this is where the stamp is going to go. So if we turn that over, and now we're going to ink it up. Okay, so this, we definitely need to ink it up upside down. I'm taking shaded spruce, and I am just inking it everywhere to make sure that I get it nice and juicy. Okay, so you can see that it's inked up really well, and even if I got some over here, it wouldn't matter because that's not going to touch the paper. So we're going to go ahead and see these 2 holes here. We're going to lay them on top, and you can get yourself ready. It doesn't go to the paper yet. And what we're going to do is we're going to push down, okay? Now, because this is a somewhat bigger stamp, I'm going to use a little tool that I had gotten I got mine on Etsy, but it's a 3D printed little foam pressure tool. And I've seen them on Amazon. Lots of people are making them. Unfortunately, we don't sell one with it, and you don't definitely need it, but it is a nice thing to have. So at class, we're going to have this. And so I'm just going to go back and I'm just going to press down with my handy dandy 3D printed tool. And when I pick this up, you can see I have a perfect image here. Now, if it wasn't perfect, I could ink it up again, go back, put it down, and press it again, and hopefully ink up the spots that I might have missed. So that is how you use the Stampin' Positioning tool, okay? So that is the first part of our lesson today. So if you have any questions about the Stampin' Positioning tool, let me tell you a couple of things first. First is, it's only available to people who sign up to be demonstrators this month. Now, it will be available to everyone eventually. I did hear before the end of the year, or later this year is what I heard. Later this year, somebody said. And so it will be available. It is $49 in the US, and it's comparable price to anything that you're going to find elsewhere. And it comes with everything you need except that grid paper, which you can buy the package very reasonably. And I'm going to use that grid paper a lot of different places too. So that is the Stampin' Positioning tool. And if you have any questions or if you'd like to join my team, please let me know and I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. Okay, so now that we have this, we are going to cut this out. And this is from the Friendly Foliage bundle. And you can see these are the stamps that come with the bundle. And then these are the different dies. And the dies are designed to cut out this beautiful stamped image that we just stamped. So when you go to cut it out, you're just going to line up the little leaves that are sticking out here. And this really gives the image the ability to pop off the page. And it's really a different look, and without fussy cutting, it's a nice way to get something a little bit more interesting on your page. So you can see I'm using a little bit of washi tape here, and I'm lining it up, and so you do end up with that outline. So you're going to run that through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, just like that, and it's going to come out, and it's going to look like this. And you can stop there, okay? So if you like the way that looks, that is fabulous, okay? But I'm going to take it one step further, and I'm going to use one more die. And this is where it gets a little bit tricky. This die, you can see how it cuts it out. It cuts out all of like what I'm going to call the negative space between the branches. And this is an effect that's very difficult to get if you're trying to just use, scissors. And what you're going to do is line it up. You can see I have some washi tape there, but you want all those little leaves right inside of the holes in the die. Now, the only thing is that I did find, it took me a couple of tries to get it exactly right. But what I found, and this is for those of you who have this bundle or are going to use it this weekend in class, we want to make sure that the outline is straight. We don't want it to be crooked, okay? Because that's what's going to show on the card. But once you get it in the right place, you just want to stick it down with your washi tape. There'll be more washi tape on the table should you need it. And then you're just going to run it through the cut and emboss machine. And when it comes out, it's going to look like this. How fabulous is that? And you can imagine how great this is going to look as a focal point on our card. Okay, so let's go ahead and build our card for today. So I'm going to take some Lost Lagoon cardstock. This is a standard A2 card, so 8.5 by 5.5. Fold it in half. Got my good crease going with my bone folder. I'm going to put a piece of white on the inside. And one thing I did not mention, and now This is going to backfire on me because I thought I was doing such a good job being prepared, but you'll see why in a second. We're going to put this on the inside of the card. It is a little bit smaller, and the reason I did that is because I didn't want to have two different sizes for the front of the card and the back of and the inside of the card. So what you're going to have done is after you cut out, remember the first step was to cut this out of some white cardstock. This piece is supposed to be the same size as this piece. So I'm going to trim this down really quickly rather than die cut another one. I just grabbed some scrap paper to have, not thinking that I would really need it. So this piece is actually 4 7/8 by 3 5/8. So I'm just going to head over to my actually, I'll get my paper trimmer. It's even easier. It's right here. And I'm just going to trim that down. You don't have to do this. It is already done for you if you're coming to class. So you can see it's 4 7/8 by 3 5/8. No, sorry about that. I did that completely wrong. Because this is what happens. I get flustered. Okay, we're going to have to do it because it is definitely smaller. So it started out, this was 5 1/4 inches, which is a standard size that I use. And we're going to go 4 7/8. That's better. And then we're going to do 3 5/8. And again, the paper will be cut in those sizes. And I was just trying to be smart and sneaky to be ready, and I miscalculated there. Okay, so now that we have that, so on the front of our card, we're going to take some shaded spruce cardstock. So that's the color that we used for our ink. And I did use two-tone paper, so you can choose to use the light or the dark side. I'm going to have the light side stick up this time. That's up to you. Our two-tone paper is slightly more cost-effective for certain sizes of paper, and 4 by 5 1/4 is one of those sizes. So that's why I like to use that. Then we're going to take that piece that where it's cut out of, and it's okay because we are going to cover up most of this. And when you use white as part of your layers, it just makes things pop a little bit. So this doesn't look like it's perfect. That's probably from my hasty cutting. But we're going to take some Balmy Blue. And this also is two-toned paper, and we're going to put that on. And this, when you're here, it will be the right side. Oh my God! You would think that I haven't spent the last several days cutting these out. So this has to be, it looks like I got the width correct. And again, it could just be my cutting, but this is going to be, yeah, you can see I'm just off by, let's see. It's the white that's off. Okay, pretend it's the right, I did it in the right side. So this is going to go on here, but you can see that little white outline just helps things pop a little bit. Okay, so let's go ahead and get that on here. That is great, and you can see down here it will fit inside there when you have it done properly. Okay, so now we are going to work with we're going to have one more piece. I have some Smoky Slate here, and we're going to take this Smoky Slate and we are going to adhere it to the bottom of the card. And this kind of grounds things and gives it, you know, a place, you know, just to embellish the background a little bit without embellishing it. And we're going to go all the way to the left edge and then let it land at the edge of the shaded spruce here. Okay, so we've got that down, and so it looks like that. And now we're going to work on putting this onto our card. So we could just put it on like this, and we can see the Balmy Blue showing through, and that looks very nice. But what if we took our Lost Lagoon and do the same thing? And so now everything pops even just a little bit more. So I'm going to go ahead, and I'm using just regular adhesive, just putting it carefully at the spots where it's a little bit thicker. You could use your wet adhesive for this. I chose not to. And this is going to fit perfectly in the background so you can look on the back. See that? It's sized just so that it fits just right in there. And once that's done, we're going to go ahead and add it to the card using some dimensionals, which I seem to have run out. So I have some more right here. So let's add. I'm just going to use 2. You could use as many as you like. Let's get that on here. And now we have that beautiful card. Okay, so let's get a sentiment. So this card comes with a number of sentiments. I'm going to use the Get Well Soon. You could use any of these that you would like. And the Get Well Soon, I just found that I've needed some Get Well cards lately. And there's going to be a strip of, I have, this is 2 3/4 by 1/2 inch. And I'm just going to stamp it on here. Now this was sized so that you could use any length of a sentiment that you want, and I'm just going to trim this straight. Okay, and then this is going to get adhered to the card, but we're going to put a dimensional over here. So we're going, this is how I usually like to do it. This way I make sure that it's not on top. I don't want any part of my dimensional on top of this because it just lifts everything even further. And if you want, you could put a teeny bit of adhesive on the side that's going to sit on that, or not. I think on my sample I didn't. And so it's going to look like that. And to finish it off, we have some, you know, I've had these for quite a while. These are adhesive-backed metallic gems. And I have to tell you, the shine on this is just, these are just amazing. So you're going to use 2, and you're going to choose to use either 2 small ones or 2 big ones, because for the balance of this card, to keep things balanced, we're going to place them right here. So I'm going to use 2 big ones on this card. Just the silver ones will be out. We're going to save the other colors for other projects in the future. So you've got that there, and there you go. And it is a beautiful Lost Lagoon card. Susan, I'm glad, I know I love Lost Lagoon too. It's one of my favorite colors from Stampin' Up. One more thing I wanted to point out, and that is when you send this die, if you choose to do so, when you send this die through your die cutting machine, when it comes out, everything is stuck. Everything is stuck no matter what I do, because I don't want to really use, you know, any wax paper, because it's so hard to line this up just perfectly. So I beg of you, if you do this and you send it through the die cut and emboss machine, please make sure that you punch everything out using the take your pick tool. You can use the brush first to get out as much as you can, but let me tell you, it does stick. I will use some wax paper in between people just to see if we can get things loosened up a little bit, but these are really tight, and so these little shapes here, and they really get stuck. So I just ask that you make sure that you poke those out so that the next person, or for your second card, that it actually cuts, because once paper builds up in here, even just one piece of paper, once it builds up in there, it prevents it from cutting well the next time. So anyway, so that is our card that we will be making in my Stamp Stack this weekend. And if you're interested, please let me know. And you saw the Stampin' Positioning tool, and hopefully that showed you just how easy that is to use. I hope it's something that you're interested in, and it's definitely a great time to sign up to be a demonstrator, because if you do, that is free. That comes with your starter kit for free. So you pay $99 for $125 worth of product of your choice, and you get the Stampin' Positioner for free, which is a $49 value. So I'd love to have you on my team. Thank you for joining me today, and I'll be back next week with some more fun projects. Thank you so much for joining me, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.